What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm the leader of the Scentless Flower Clan, Tsubaki, and yes, for those of you who saw my last rant video, you'll saw we had 3,000 crystals and a bunch of summoning items. As you'll now look, we only have 23 crystals and we now have Vegito Blue, and we have still yet to do any of the story whatsoever. If you guys paid attention to the last video, you'll know that we were still here at book 3 chapter 1. We're still here at book 3 chapter 1. The purpose of this video was to talk about the new anniversary Rising Kaioken banner. They just wanted to throw that in there to make it sound cool. And yeah, so I wanted to go over the units. I didn't necessarily want to give my review because they were they were late with the PyCon video on Twitter, so I felt no purpose to actually record them. But as you can currently see up here, they're bringing back the 999 for this, which, yeah, I mean, I thought it was always a good thing, so you could immediately get them to 3 stars. I have no problem with that. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna obviously start off with the main guy himself, Super Kaioken Goku. I wish I had crystals. Bandai chooses not to give out crystals during their anniversary, which is weird, but I wanted this Goku. Just sucks that I can't get him. He's like, I do say a lot that Ultra Instinct Goku is my favorite, not favorite character. Ultra Instinct itself is one of my favorite techniques, but overall, I like the design of the Super Kaioken because it's Super Saiyan and Kaioken. But it was kind of like filler, so it wasn't canon. So it didn't happen per se, as compared to the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken from the Universe 6 versus Universe 7 tournament. But going into the unit, he's a range type, so he's a green range type. He's already discrediting Super Saiyan 4 Goku, which defeated the entire purpose of the GT banner if this was the case. So looking at his stats, his strike attack and blast attack are pretty okay. They're kind of balanced. His defenses are, I'm not going to say like they're too low, but they're on the low side. His key restore speed's alright, and his criticals, they could have been higher, just because there are other units who've had almost a 5,000 crit. I'm talking about you, GT Vegeta. But moving on, he's from the anime original sagas. But we don't have to worry about what episode he's from. He has a whole bunch of other tags that'll put him on other teams. He holds a blast damage up card, kind of like Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. And looking into it, impact, standard. Then we go into the Super Kaioken Kamehameha. Deals major impact damage, 20% to blast damage inflicted for 20 timer counts, and an additional 20% to special move damage for 3 timer counts if its health is below 50%. So this Goku's entire gimmick is, all or nothing, which, makes sense when he fought PyCon in the tournament. Everything he has, all of his stuff is based off of whether he has 50% or lower. In my personal opinion, with the meta we have going on right now, he might be green and he does have some defensive stuff to help out with that. But at the same time, how good? Well, I don't have the unit, and I don't have it on my other account either because they just came out, and again, Legends chooses not to give out crystals, but I don't know how this would actually work out. Like, how would this work? Because from what I saw, because I've already looked at these units before I started recording this, he's not a fusion killer. He's not the Vegito killer that people want, but at the same time, he feels that way. And I feel like this type of kit, he should have just, as dumb as it would have been to put him there, he should have just been the step up instead of Goku. Because looking at his kit, it feels 3 times better than Goku. Goku is just primarily damage, as to where this Kaioken Goku, he has damage with some defense so that he can take better hits, especially, and I feel like they didn't start doing this until Vegito showed up, and they wanted to give it some time to see how the meta would play out, and now they're seeing how bad it is. But moving on to his green card, Howl of Resurrection, restores his own ki by 40. No small amount, no slouch amount. 20% the damage inflicted. Again, another damage buff. And this is one thing that threw everybody off, I'm sure. He gives himself endurance. That's nuts. That's ridiculous. He gives himself endurance when he's below 50%. He restores his own health by 20%, and he reduces the next damage he receives. So basically, you know, Sun Family Saiyan, the Sun Family Saiyan variant, because he does boost Sun Family, is going to be stronger than ever. Because now there are now 2 units in the game for Sun Family that have endurance. If you have the Kid Goku at Zenkai 7, he gives himself endurance. This Goku gives himself endurance with his green card. Zenkai Goku covers this Goku. And not to mention, Super Kaioken Goku's green, meaning, and he gets all these damage buffs. He's going to be doing a good amount of damage to Vegito now. Because Vegito's damages aren't up to snuff like a Legends Limited should, but we'll save that for another time. Moving on to his ultimate, deals massive impact damage, inflicts enemy attribute downgrade plus 15% to damage received. So that's just period. And yeah, I know you see it at the bottom. You love it. You love it a lot. 30% to inflict faint on hit. We have another faint unit in the game, and it's funny how he's green, but that doesn't really matter. But yeah, he does faint. And I'm just going to say this now. Like I said, I've already looked at these units. They all inflict faint. All the new units, even the Extreme Kid Goku, they all inflict faint. Hyper offensive meta, really hyper offensive. And now that they're adding faint, PvP is just going to get like 11 times worse. And I can guarantee it's going to get worse. Moving on to his abilities, Super Kaioken does the Dragon Fist and restores his own ki by 30%, 50% to blast damage inflicted for an entire 60 timer counts. So yeah, it's like he's made to be the Vegito killer, but not the Vegito killer, if that makes sense. He just so happened to be green, which in my personal opinion, like I said already, it discredits Super Saiyan 4 Goku, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people were mad, but I also feel as though he should have been purple or yellow. Number 1 purple. We don't have that many purple Saiyans in the game anymore. The only other purple Saiyan that we have right now that's viable is Super Saiyan 4 Goku. And he's like 3 times better on Sun Family or GT. Not necessarily a Saiyan team himself. I mean, he's still good, but we still need more. Like, it doesn't change the fact we need more Saiyan units for like that. And then yellow, the only like good one we have right now, I'm sorry to say, is the Zenkai Goku. Most people didn't do his entire event like me. On my main account, I only have him at Zenkai 1. That was it. Moving on, his main ability, Sun Family are red, so they want you to run red, red, green. That's like the main purpose of this, and I'll explain why when we look over Pikkon. But he boosts red. Pikkon is red. I don't know why this Goku couldn't have just been purple, but they wanted him to be green, so hey, you wanted to make that dumb decision, it is what it is. So Otherworld Super Saiyan applies effects to himself when he enters the battlefield, 40% to damage inflicted, -5 to own arts cards, and that's literally like everything. Blast art, strike arts, special move arts, all of them get knocked down by 5 15 timer counts. So yeah, I'm going to keep bringing this up because it angers me, because I have the Super Saiyan 4 Goku and I don't have this unit, and already this Goku is looking 3 times better than the Super Saiyan 4. And I'm only saying that, yes, Goku has that 40% health that he receives after his ultimate, but this Goku gives himself endurance, not to mention he has a bunch of defensive buffs. As you can see at the bottom, he reduces damage received by 40% for 10 timer counts when, you know, when an enemy invades his attack with a vanishing step. So they took the very common thing you use to escape an attack and all that. But, you know, I'm pretty sure like this could, it's for 10 timer counts, so it's not like it activates once and then, you know, the opponent tap attacks you and now you lost that buff. Like, this goes on to be like full on. I wish I had this unit so I can see how much damage he could, like, you know, tank from Vegito Blue. because I already know he's going to be doing a lot of damage to Vegito Blue. He's a really good blast unit, and he's getting a lot of inflicted damage buffs, not just blast damage, but inflicted damage, which kind of helps out with everything: strike, blast, and ultimate, and special, you know. Moving on to his other unique ability, again, 40% the damage inflicted cannot be cancelled, 70% the key recovery, and as you look here, his key recovery isn't so high, so he does have that, and he increases draw art speed by 1, so he's going to be doing very long combos like Kefla. I'm not going to say like Kefla and Vegito, but it looks to be like it's getting to be that way. So he increases arch draw speed, and then again he has that 50 or below. Randomly destroys one of your cards to draw a special arts card, and by coming back over here, special arts card, you get the restored key by 40, the endurance when it's below. So everything kind of checks out, right? Like, he's really good, and I don't need to check him at 14 stars. Everybody's good at 14 stars, but I know he'll be a monster at 14 stars, especially when he's at red 2 or 9 stars. But looking overall, this unit is like extremely broken, and it almost is just like, what was the purpose of having the GT banner? I mean, I'm happy that he's in the game now. It's like, we're getting something other than, you know, some meta defining, but at the same time, he's part of Sun Family. And for anybody who's been living under a rock, Sun Family is still a really good team. They have almost every single type of thing you can think of for any situation. It's almost ridiculous. And with this Goku out, and it's just like, wow, okay, so that's what we're doing now. So that's going to be that for Goku, and we're going to go ahead and move on to Pikkon. Alright, so we have the Pikkon here. He's a range type, and it's funny how both of them are range types, but I'm going to now get into the whole reason as to why I feel as though they're going to want you to run red, red, green, and I'm just going to like do this immediately before we look at anything else. He does 26% to element red and green at 3 stars. Keep in mind, they always show you the stuff at 3 stars, but he's basically like hit. He's hit for another like color. Hit boost yellow and blue. I'm assuming. I believe the blue one was at like 3 stars or 6 stars. If I'm wrong, please let me know down in the comments. But yeah, they want you to run red, red, green, and with his unique ability, they want you to run the Goku and the Pikkon together. And yeah, it just ends up like, it almost it surprises me how good these two are together, just because of what Pikkon can do with his unique. But before transformation, he's not all that great. His arrow break does, you know, 50% inflicted damage. It's whatever. In my own personal opinion, I feel like these moves should have, you know, inflicted the enemy with 15% to damage received instead of them just receiving that buff. Just so, you know, you can swap out the units a little bit better instead of just one having these buffs, swap out, lose buffs, and so on and so forth. His green card gives him blast damage inflicted. Obviously, he's a range type, 40% to key recovery, and then he transforms the agile style, gives an attack buff, complete composure, just gets another damage buff, a new rival. This one is weird, right? Like, this one is definitely weird, but it can be used just because, you know, Pikkon is, you know, the only credible tag that Pikkon can even have is Otherworld Warrior. And we don't even have anybody that boosts that, and even if they did, we don't have a full team that's even good enough. But surprisingly enough, they gave him powerful opponent, and as you can clearly see, he holds 2 blast cards. So when he has the powerful opponent, he has 2 blast cards. You can very much run him with the Masu, and you'll still do perfectly fine. And I still feel as though like these, like, and it's like, it bothers me because these units are like really good. They're really good. In my personal opinion, they're like really strong. Pikkon, I have my personal bias. The fact is, I'm not a big fan of transforming units, just because you need to keep them on standby before they transform, because they're like completely useless. Like, yes, he has stuff, but it's not worth it. Looking at what really matters though, these stats are like a little bit better. But unlike Goku, he's more blast oriented. Goku's attacks were more balanced, one being 199-ish and the other being 190, kind of in that range, he just outright says, no, I'm going to go straight for blast. He'll be doing a lot of blast damage, and which is like ridiculous. So his stats or whatever, he still holds a powerful opponent, which I don't know why I said that. But moving on to Thunder Flash, this is the other one. It goes from 15% to 20% damage inflicted. Flawless Stance. Now this here is a lot. This is one of his like big things to look at. His green card draws a special move card next, and 20% to blast damage inflicted for 20 timer counts. He reduces the enemy key by 30 and reduces enemy vanishing gauge to 0. Now, I'm actually glad that the extreme Gogeta is, is from Super and not from Fusion Reborn, and having that Otherworld Warrior tag. But all I'm going to say is, if he had the Otherworld Warrior tag, then yeah, Otherworld Warrior plus red, green would kind of be busted, because that Gogeta is still really good. He restores his own vanishing gauge once, while this Pycon reduces the enemy vanishing gauge, while also having this really good balanced blast unit to cover the both of them. Red, and even if he doesn't have Otherworld Warrior, I feel like that is the more optimal team, just because it's red, green. It's the three colors it's the two colors you want to run on the team, and then on the bench you can just throw a bunch of sand buffers and whatnot if you want, and that'll be the team. But moving on, enhances the next special move art so that it does 30% to its damage inflicted, and it does minus 20 to own special move art cost, so it goes from 50 to 30, which is really good. Moving on to his abilities, he inflicts the enemy with 30% to damage received, and inflicts the enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10 the special arts cost, so they're not going to really be using their supers that much, especially those units that don't have, like special moves that can be reduced as time progresses, like the transforming Vegeta, the blue one. His can go down to like 35 or something like that, but this will then raise that super from 50 to 60, so that'll force the opponent to be a little bit more conservative with their key, forces them to not go in so much, which I feel like that's what they were doing, and I feel like they were trying to make these characters anti-Vegito. Like, these characters just scream anti-Vegito blue. He raises the special move arts, which is like ridiculous, which forces Vegito to, be more sparingly with his ki, because as you already know, Vegito has this no switching thing like the purple Super Saiyan 4 Goku. Unreadable movements, the first unique ability, when the enemy evades with a vanishing step, he restores. When he invades an enemy effect with a vanishing step, he restores ki by 40 and plus 50 to vanishing gauge recovery. In my personal experience with this game, this is the first time I've seen something like this. This is broken. He's literally going to be able to vanish and get his recovery back faster than other units. Like, he's literally the fastest unit to get his vanishing gauge back, and it's ridiculous. He also restores his own ki by 40, which on top of the Flawless Stance, I believe, reducing, the enemy's ki by 30, it's just ridiculous. And then this one is what threw me for a loop. The following effects occur when this character enters the battlefield or transforms: draws a special arts card, and 40% to blast damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. And then he inflicts the enemy with attribute downgrade plus 10 to strike arts cost. If this is not screaming anti-Vegito, I don't know what is. Anti-Vegito is a strike unit. He has a really good blue card. These units are basically saying no to Vegito, which we very much need. And what's also surprising is that they're not over the top, like disgustingly broken. If I had to say which one was more broken, I'd only go with Pycon, because he reduces vanishing gauge, reduces ki, and also raises special arts cost by 5 or 10, and then strike arts cost by 10, which is insanely good. but he can still be shut down by Vegito. Like, it's not impossible for Vegito to kill. It's Vegito. It's like impossible for him to not kill Pikkon. But they've made these units which can kill him, and I think that it was really good because they gave it a week, let everybody play with Vegito, and then boom, these units come out. He's red, so you're not obviously going to be using him. You're really going to be using him for his cards and then swapping out to Goku to deal the final blow. But this right here, this is my other reason as to why they want you to run red, red, green. Also, gradually restores ally health, ally Otherworld Warrior health each timer count for 20 timer counts if a tag Otherworld Warrior other than this character is a battle member. They want you to run them, and obviously going back over here you'll even see his ability. He boosts a red blast attack while also going back over to the Pikkon boosts red and green. So those two are going to be that. And then I'm looking at this banner. 21's back. I don't necessarily care. This Goku is back. Nobody uses him. He's not even thrown on Saiyans, Sun Family, and movies are kind of dead right now. They got Bulma, and I'll explain why later. Golden Frieza, Perfect Cell, these guys, the usual suspects. He needs a Zenkai, definitely. I don't even have any. I only have one copy of him on my main account. But going on to this unit, I don't know how I feel about them releasing another Youth Goku. Now, he's a defensive type. He's an extreme unit, so these defenses for an extreme unit are kinda, alright. They're literally the same. It's literally 124k, and it's literally the same. He holds strike cards. Kids, Saiyan, Sun Family, but he boosts Blue and Dragon Ball Saga at 3 stars. That's what got me. They're now trying to address the Dragon Ball issue that they've had in their game, because they've had this tag since this Goku has been out, and we haven't had any really good units to run. It's literally just been Bulmas and Gokus. So moving on, like I said, almost all the new characters have Feint. He has a 15% chance to inflict Feint. If he was a Sparking, he'd have 30% just like everybody else would, and it'd be ridiculous. He changed his own blast cards to strike, so he's primarily a defensive strike unit. His whole goal is to deal damage while also tanking damage for an extreme unit. It is what it is, but there are other blue units who are like 3 times better. You're only going to be using him on Dragon Ball when the team becomes more fleshed out. And then moving on to his main ability, 30% to damage inflicted for 30 timer counts, and increases his arch draw speed by 1, and it only takes 5 timer counts, which I think is ridiculous. To be able to, increase your arch draw speed just in 5 timer counts of the battle, it's like ridiculous. Like he's like really good in my personal opinion. Like, he reduces damage by 30% for 40 timer counts, not just some when he comes in, or like for only like 15 timer counts. Like, this is 40 timer counts, and a battle will most likely take place within those 40 timer counts. Then he gives himself a strike damage buff, and he restores 10% of damage received up to 10% of his own health, which is, ridiculous. I don't know if this is, just a thing, or if it's for certain timer counts and it just won't say. And then Eternal Struggle, more strike damage. And then this is where it kind of comes in, where the blue or yellow, the only blue or yellow Sparking Dragon Ball units are Bulmas. So like I said, they're trying to flesh it out. Then he gives an additional 40% strike damage when a Dragon Ball Saga is a battle member. I'm only glossing through him because I don't necessarily care for him, because I mean, I'd be more excited if this Goku had more units, like if we had more Dragon Ball units, but right now I just don't feel as though it'll be worth it. Like, you can run him on Saiyans, but he's not going to be benefiting Saiyans. He's benefiting Dragon Ball, and we still don't have a good Dragon Ball tag. But that's just going to be it for me. I do have another video planned. Somebody in my comment section did ask me to review Bradco's video. giving his thoughts about the 2-year anniversary, so I will be doing that. I'll probably record that next and probably post that either today or tomorrow. But if you guys want to see more on the channel, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you know when I post a video. Have a very inconsistent upload schedule, but hey, it's what the bell's there for. But that's going to be it from me. I'll see you guys in the next video.